Howdy, folks. Marvin Forte here with the 5th episode of the KFNW Current. Thanks for joining us tonight. Happy to have you. I've got a couple of guests that we're going to have on shortly. Jim Davis, who all of you should know, and Joe Bockenstette from Northwest Tackle. First of all, let's give a big thanks to Joe at Northwest Tackle. He is our media sponsor this year. He's a big reason why we can do the KFNW Current this year. And we've got some other media things we'll be doing throughout the season. Thanks to him. Shout out to our other sponsors, our title sponsor, Snake River Manufacturing. Super glad to have Steve and his crew on board this year. Diamond Parking and Diamond Self-Storage are our presenting sponsor. Thanks to them. And then our tour sponsors this year, Native Watercraft, that you already knew about, and we just added Boggs. Boggs is back. We missed them last year. We didn't have anything from them. This year they're back, and they're back big. They are a tour sponsor this year, and we're going to have a free pair of footwear at every event. I've got some samples of their stuff here, but I'll wait until a little later to show all that to you. Without getting too much further, let's bring on our two guests. Here they are, Jim and Joe. J and J.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me, Russ.
Thanks for coming on. Good to see you both. So one of the things that I've got both of you here to talk about is motors. We want to talk about what motors are out there, what some of the options are for motors for kayaks, what is and isn't allowed in KFNW rules. We might even mention some other organizations and what their rules are and how they might differ from ours. But Joe sells some of these motors in his shop there in Caldwell at Northwest Tackle. And Jim is the avowed anti-motor guy who has now found the light.
Yeah, well, as soon as your hips go bad, you can't pedal anymore.
When you, I warned Jim before his hip surgery. I was like, this is like the universe paying you back for all the things you said about motors for years. He's like, I know.
Yep.
Let's see. And we got Brandon Hua saying hello. Let me fix this before we go too much further because it's going to be hard to see it. There we go. Now it's down there. Good to see you, Brandon. So, speaking of rules, what's he saying? Anti-everything, then converted to everything. That's you.
Probably so.
That's right. So, speaking of motors and rules, I haven't announced it because I kind of was waiting till we got on here and talked about it a little bit. But the rules for this year are live. They are up on the website. In fact, I can switch to that real quick. Show people what that looks like. Jim, for some reason, you're super tiny. This happened to Brandon the other day, too. What is up with that?
Not even sure. Oh, wow, look at that.
You're just itty bitty. It's the same thing that happened to Brandon.
That's okay.
I don't know what. Yeah, Brandon seemed happy about it, but. Oh, here it is. I found it. Boom. There you are. Okay. Got it. Still figuring out the bugs on this thing. Okay, so that's actually our YouTube page. Here we go. Here is the website. If you go under resources, these items that are green are live. There's actually content. These are not up yet, the payouts and the waivers. But if you go here to rules, I have spent a considerable amount of time trying to condense these rules as much as I could. And they are a little bit shorter than they were. I've gotten rid of some stuff that wasn't necessary and tried to shorten some of the language of what's there. So even if you're really familiar with the rules, please go through and read through it carefully. And between all these, 150 eyes, 200 eyes, if you see anything that I've missed or you see anything that doesn't make sense, please let me know and we will figure that out. And as far as motors are concerned, let's jump right down to that.
I think I saw it on number 5.
Oh, I just passed it. Yeah. Well, that's where I should be using this. See, you come here to the table of contents, just click on the section you want to go to, and it'll just scroll you down to that section. So here we are. The big difference is this stuff. And this will lead us right into what I want the three of us to talk about. So for stern mount motors, this is your Newport NKs, your Torqeedo, Bixby. This is stern mounts or pod style. Sorry, I didn't, because the Old Town is certainly a pod style. The Marvin Forte Current, that is a stern mount. Those, nothing's really changed. You can go, depending on, those different motors run at different voltages. But like the NK 300 that I have, that runs at 36 volts, and that's fine. The NK 180 Pro, which I think is what you're running, right, Jim?
Yes.
Is a 24 volt system. And then some of these are 12 volt systems. So that's fine. Any of those motors you can use at whatever battery sizes they offer. You're welcome to do that. Where it has changed is this bow mount trolling motor stuff, because we've got some new trolling motors that are out there that are a little crazy. Namely the Move and that's the Power Pole Move and the Minn Kota Tarova. Those things with a 36 volt battery, we feel like they're just too powerful. The pound thrust on those gets up to about, what is it, Joe? 110, 120, something like that?
Yeah, they're getting up there pretty high.
We feel like that's just
Especially for a kayak.
Too much for a kayak. Great for a boat, but a little scary on a kayak. So we're going to limit those to 24 volts or 90 pounds thrust. So that for the Power Pole Move and for the Minn Kota Tarova, the Lowrance Recon, all of those, that means you're going to have to run them at 24 volts. You will not be allowed to run them at 36 volts during KFNW competition. If you want to run that on your own time, that's fine. Whatever floats your boat or sinks your boat. Because that's where we're worried about. Worried about people getting flipped out, especially, running spot lock or anchor lock, depending on what brand and what they call it. It can get a little dicey, and especially on a shorter kayak. I wouldn't do it on anything less than a 12-foot kayak. But I know there are people out there running it on a 10-footer. Let's see. The rest of this is all pretty much the same as what we had before. It's organized a little differently. That's the only real difference in all of the rules. That should be the only significant change to the specs. So as you're going through that, let me get back here where I can see you guys. Let me know if you see anything else that doesn't make sense. So talk to us a little bit about some of those motors, Joe, and let us know which ones of those you are carrying or can get.
So currently we're doing Garmin, Lowrance, Newport, Power Pole, and I am almost finished with Torqeedo.
That's almost all of them. No Bixby?
Yeah.
You're not going to get Bixby in?
If the demand's there, then why not?
No, we have very few that have run the Bixby. It's kind of a neat little motor if you've got a very lightweight kayak. Like they have one for the Native Watercraft Slayer LTE 10-foot kayak. It's 65-pound kayak. It's pretty cool for that because you can put it right in the transom, right where the pedal drive is. You can use the pedal and the motor. For something like that, where you're just giving it a little bit of a boost, I think that's fine. But if you kind of try and put it on a Hobie PA or a Native Titan or something like that, Titan X, I don't think you're going to have much success with it. It's just not powerful enough.
Yeah.
Whereas, like the Power Pole Move, you've talked to me about that a little. Sounds like a pretty impressive piece of technology.
Yeah. I mean, just It's super light, super quiet, but it's really really strong too, all at the same time. And if you can get one of those fancy stainless steel props, it's even more powerful.
I saw that at ICAST.
Hmm. Yeah, those are on hold at the moment, I guess.
Popular.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I think the popular ones are going to be Newport and Garmin, just because price point and features.
I'm seeing a
Torpedo's
real,
going to be right there.
yeah, yeah. Well, Torpedo is, they're kind of the first ones that were in this realm. They beat everybody else to the punch, really. It's still just a great product. The interesting thing I'm seeing, and tell me if you're seeing or hearing the same thing, Jim, because you know everybody. I'm seeing a real shift in the online reaction to the Garmin Force Current. At first, everybody was like, oh my God, it's so expensive and it's not powerful, it's not fast, that's going to be awful, terrible. And it was just so negative. And then I went to ICAST, it was only a few weeks after they had announced it. I went to ICAST and saw it there, and I'm like, holy cow, that thing is impressive. Like, it is just, and to have a huge company like Garmin who puts in the R&D to develop a product like that, specifically for us, specifically for kayak anglers, like, I was super excited about that. But it's interesting, just in the past month or two, I'm seeing more people buying it and more people like, oh yeah, I want to get that Garmin Force Current. It's the tide is kind of shifting. From what I see, have you noticed the same thing?
It's kind of like when they started bringing out all these super expensive kayaks. Everybody was like, "Who's going to buy that? Who's going to buy that?" Now everybody has them.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, like the Hobie 360, right? Like,
yeah, yep.
Totally.
And so I think that's kind of where it's going. I think I know like 3 people with it now, and I've seen others, and everybody loves it for what it does. So especially on lakes and things, it's, from what I understand, pretty
Yeah.
excellent.
The people I've talked to about it, I talked to Justin Floyd about it a lot, who's works for Big Adventures, and he's on the Bonafide team, and he runs a Bonafide. He runs the big XT 130, and he's got it on there. He was one of the early people who got it, and he said what people don't get is it's so super efficient that when you just compare like the voltage and the quote unquote pound thrust, it doesn't tell the whole story, because you can run it at a higher throttle for longer than you can most motors because it's so efficient.
Right.
And then they came out with a software update just like, I don't know, a few weeks ago or a month ago that apparently changed the speed. It was like, okay, it can go faster. We just had to tweak the software a little.
Yeah, they probably dumbed it down for reliability initially. Is what
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
guessing.
testing more, I don't know. It was so new.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I mean. Garmin has good components usually. And that's why you're going to see more efficiency out of them. Quality components.
Yeah.
Yep. Honestly, that's the same reason I have the 180 Pro now, because of the efficiency. I can go 100% and still use less wattage than, I'll just use a regular 180 NK 180. I use quite a bit less. I have I'm higher. It's got a higher wattage it can give out, but I can use a lot less and go, and just, my battery lasts a lot longer. It's pretty nice that way. But yeah, that's kind of the same thing, I guess.
Yeah. And the 300's even a little more so than that. It's big, and it's a much bigger prop and all that. Kegan and I noticed when we had the Titan and the Hammer out testing them, it was pretty interesting how much more efficient the Hammer was. Just the hull. We had the same exact motor, but just the hull made such a huge difference between those kayaks. One of the tests we did, we ran at 50% throttle. We just put it at 50%, and the Hammer was going considerably faster, half a mile an hour faster. at 50%. So that over the whole day, that'll get you a lot more running than.
I mean, hull design is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people don't seem to get that. That they just want more power. But I said in the video, it's like pushing a log through the water at a certain point, because
You
it doesn't
can
get up
strap
on
a
plane.
horse on a log and push it just fine. You'll think it's just fine, but you're not efficient at it for sure.
Yeah.
No. So since your hammer is more like efficient and the speed's there, I've watched your video, but like for those that haven't, like, is your stability still substantial on that, or is it get a little
It's
more
good.
dicey on the
It's
side?
good. I don't need super stability. There are a lot of people out there who really want super duper stable. That's the most important thing to them. And I tell them, if that's what you want, then you ought to get like the Bonafide XT130 or the Blue Sky, or the Titan X. Those are super stable kayaks, and you could really see it in the video where Kegan stood up in the Titan X, and he leaned over, and it just did this. It like barely moved. But then, in the hammer, when he leaned over, he could get the gunnel to go down close to the water, and then the secondary kicks in, and you're not going to go much further, but you could fall out of it pretty easily if you did. It really just comes down to comfort level. I mean, it's interesting to me, Jim, that you have been such a Hobie PA guy, which is a very stable kayak. It's a big, very stable kayak, but you're a super experienced kayaker. And I would think you're comfortable with something that's not as stable. And I'm sure some of the ones you've used in the Saltwater team were not as stable.
Very much so. I've been in some doozies. No, I love my pro angler. I know Hobie's had some issues, but stability wise, even at speed, it's good. But any boat that's you're going to add speed to it, you're making it automatically. It's going to be a little less stable, just out of trying to turn or whatever, going too fast.
Sure.
But yeah, the boats that we have here, I will say the boats that we have here in the U.S. are they're heads and tails above so many of the other what they consider top kayak manufacturers across the world, because I've been in so many different ones, and once you've been in a good boat like a Hobie or a Native or a Bonafide or a Jackson or any of those guys, you get into some of these other boats and they do not meet the standards, or at least what you think is
what you used
or
to.
you're used to as the standard, because their standards are definitely not the same as ours, not even remotely. But for me, speed is everything. It's just hull design, and I like longer, but also the longer the boat, the more stable you are in rougher weather.
Right.
Whether on the salt water or where you're going to be. Just it cuts the waves better. You're going to have more maneuverability, safety. There's just a number of different things versus a short, stubby, maybe it'll be super wide and super stable, shorter boat, but
in a lake.
Fills with water. Now you can't move it, and they sink. They will sink. So,
well, and if you're trying to surf launch something like you just described, a wave hits you.
You get multiple waves. It'll put you down. I've seen it just past the waves. So I've even had, going through and in one of my Hobies looking out back, we got that giant hole in the center of it, and usually the water's in and out in the blink of an eye. But I've had double stacked waves where you took off thinking it was a single, and it ended up being a double, and then another double behind it, and it fills the kayak, and it can't get the water out, and you're sitting there with the top of the gunnel, even with the water surface, and it's super untippy till it can pop back up.
Sure.
So stuff happens.
But, well, one thing I talked to, a few of us talked to the designer from Native, Shane, about the hammer recently, and I'm kind of interested to see how that one does in the salt. I think it's going to be it's going to be the best Native kayak I think that they've had for the salt for a few reasons. But one of the big reasons is the same reason that it's nimble when I had it on the lake. You know, it turns really well, and it is a little bit tippy like that from that initial stability. But the designer said that's one of the things they designed in it that way, and it's going to actually perform a lot better in waves for that reason. Because a big, flat, super stable kayak, a wave comes along, well, that kayak's going to move with the wave. Whatever the wave does, it's going to do it. And when a wave hits like a Hobie Revo, right, or some narrower, curvier kayak, the waves are just going to wrap around that kayak. It's not going to be as rough a ride as it would be on a big, super stable kayak.
They allow you to be more fluid with the water, with the waves as an individual. Right. And being fluid is very important, because if you can't be fluid, then you're going to end up upside down eventually, because you're not moving with things. So it allows you to make it to for your body, the way you move to translate into the kayak, and then the whole system moves. You're all part of that system. I'm interested in the hammer as well. I'm not.
Yeah, and I think, from you and I had talked about it before, I think from a surf launching standpoint, because of that X-Range drive that folds up out of the way, and you can even strap it down if you wanted to for surf launching, I think that's great, because having a big cast aluminum drive right in where you're trying to jump in the cockpit seems a little dicey.
And that's been, honestly, that's been where Hobie has beat everybody else hands down when it comes to surf launching, is because
the drive.
They don't. Yeah, the drive's sticking out. You launch in the waves, and a wave will pick you up, and believe it or not, sometimes it'll pull you backwards a little bit. When it comes back down again, even though you're trying to go, you're gonna jam your drive right into the sand and bust it. We've had people break their pedals because it jammed, or you take off in a high spot, or a low spot rather, where the water is like waist deep, but then as the tide changes every time, it moves the sands in and out, so you can end up with a little bar in front of you that you didn't know was there, and then again you can. Yeah. And so that's the big difference, is people trying to get in and monkey with the drive before that next wave comes in. If it's a super wide boat, then you can't paddle it. A Hobie a pro angler is like super hard to paddle through the surf. You need to be in a Revo or an Outback, honestly. Yeah. Two boats are about ideal. But if you've got your seconds between waves are set properly, you can bail in and take off. And once you've got forward momentum in any kayak, then you should typically normally be good to go. Yeah. But it's just getting to that point is the hard part.
Sure.
If they've got a drive that folds up, that could be, a big deal.
It could really help. And what you said is absolutely true. Like, momentum is everything in a kayak. Like, that's one thing fishing, kayaking rivers. If you're fishing or kayaking in a shallow river with significant current, like, that's the solution most of the time to keep control of the kayak is speed, is to go a little faster. Yeah. Because if you don't, it's like what's that?
I said, when in doubt, give it gas.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's like if you have a little paper boat and you drop it in a creek, right? What's it going to do? It's going to just do everything and bump into everything. But if you have something that has some inertia and can cut through the current a little bit, it's going to go straight.
And things tend to when the faster you're going, they tend to stay upright, if you want to go, you're going forward, it will tend to correct itself. Kind of like on a motorcycle or a bicycle, kind of the same principle.
Sure. Centrifugal force and inertia. Well, we got off on a tangent there, but it's interesting. Yeah. But back to motors, the other thing I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of cool because we've got somebody from Oregon, somebody from Washington, and somebody from Idaho here all at once. So we can talk a little bit about the regulations. And I do have it. Let's go back to that web page. I do have it on here. It's right at the top. Yeah, so these three right here. I've got the requirements from Idaho, from Washington, and Oregon. Idaho and Oregon, there's really no good way around it. you're going to have to register your kayak if you have a motor on it. It is required in those 2 states. Washington, it's technically supposed to be only if you're taking it on navigable federal waters, right? You're technically supposed to, I guess, or if you look at the rules, that's what it says. But I know you've talked to a bunch of people about it, Jim, and none of them seem interested in it at all. They're like, whatever, we don't care.
Honestly, the only time I've had any issues is in Oregon.
When you went to Brownlee, right?
Yeah, Brownlee. But I mean, that was where, and just for people, I know people have asked, if you're from another state and you go fish Oregon or you go fish Idaho, you come here and fish Washington, your state's rules apply to you. The gentleman tried to tell me there that I had to have
you had to buy an Oregon registration or something, right?
Oregon registration. And I asked him, I said, well, wait a minute. You guys don't have to license your trailers here, right? He goes, no. I go, well, then how come Washington allows that for you to use your trailer there, but I can't follow the rules for my kayak for Washington here in Oregon? And he just looked at me and he said, okay, I'll tell the other guy to leave you alone. It's more than that, but yeah, he only known. But in Washington, it's any navigational water. So the Columbia River or the Saltwater is what you're supposed to technically be licensed in. But every time I have been out, I have been around the sheriff's department. They've just never, I don't know if they don't know or what. I mean, I do put numbers on mine now just because for the headache of it all but I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been checked and my friends have. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. So, and that's, Pat Moore said that in that thread where we were discussing this. He said, I just registered it because it's just easier. And I said, yeah, if you're fishing tournaments and you're going from state to state in KFNW, it might be easier for you in Washington to just go ahead and register it. I don't think you're going to have any problem in Washington with it.
The biggest thing is Washington, they make it really difficult to license a kayak because they don't register it. Yeah, they don't know where the value. They don't know a whole bunch of different stuff, and they look at you like, well, and you're like, they tell you we can't do it. You say, but I'm supposed to have it to use it here, and then they'll tell you, nope, you don't need it. And then you go talk to a different person in a different one, and they'll say, oh yeah, you got to have it, but you got to have this, and you're like, well, I don't have a title because it wasn't titled.
Right. They're used to boats. They're used to boats that have a title, and all we have usually is a statement of origin is what we get with the kayak. And by the way, if anybody buys a used kayak and they don't have that statement of origin, I can tell you for sure that you can reach out if it's native or bona fide, and I think New Canoe as well. You can reach out to them and they will get you a statement of origin on a used kayak. If you buy a used kayak, you just need to give them your serial number and they'll get you that statement of origin, a copy of it.
I think Hobie's the same way.
Hobie, my understanding is they used to be a little bit more touchy about it. Like it wasn't so easy to get one. You could, but you kind of had to stick with it a little bit.
And that's how I got mine, was through them. They used my serial number and what they told me is where the kayak was purchased, and then I in turn messaged the shop that the boat was purchased from in Florida, of all places.
And of course, if you're buying it new, you're going to get that statement of origin. On the native and bona fide kayaks, it comes in a little plastic sleeve. It's usually in the hatch, and you always get that. And then I try and, if I'm ever selling my kayak, I try and give that to the person. But if you can't find it or don't have it, then you can always get it from the manufacturer. And that's what you will need in lieu of a title. That's what you have instead of a title to register it. It's a breeze to do it in Oregon. You can do the whole thing online. You just go online, you upload the statement of origin. You have to have a scan or a photo of it, and you upload that and you plug it all in, and they immediately give you basically your registration. So then you can print it out and carry it with you until you get your numbers. They don't have your numbers yet, but you have something you can print out and carry with you in case you get checked by a warden or something. But and then they just show up in the mail a couple weeks later, 2-3 weeks later. It's a breeze. And in Idaho, I think it's similarly really easy from everybody I've talked to.
Idaho's super easy.
But yeah, so that's where we're at with that. It's always been sort of a weird thing. And when I put it in the rules, I'm sort of like, I don't really know what to say, because with Washington, I mean, with Idaho and Oregon, I know exactly what's going on, but with Washington, it's always kind of a question mark. And I don't know what percentage of your Washington anglers that you see at your Washington events have it registered. It's got to be a very small number.
It was smaller, but honestly, a lot of people are going through Idaho now. I mean, just to get that initial registration so that they can turn around and come back and go to Washington. I mean,
I don't understand that. Somebody said that online, but you can't register it in another state, can you? Than your resident state.
That's what I did mine. I mean, I had to, because I couldn't get everything I needed. Washington was so difficult here for me that's what I did. But once I have it, then I can just go to Washington and go, here's my registration deal, and then they take care of it.
I see what you're saying. Okay. You're using that registration to get you. See, that's dumb.
It's a real pain in the tail here for people to get it, man. It's not all black and white. And like I said, depending on what office you go to and who you talk to, every time you talk to somebody, it's different. It's like you never get the same set of rules or the same instruction on how it's supposed to work from these people. It's just all different, and so it helps with it helps to really keep things confusing, is what it does.
Well, it's good info for you, Joe, because you're going to see people probably from all three states at some point to buy kayaks from you, and yeah, you can sort of clue them in if they're buying motors from you, what they're going to have to go through. But
honestly, oops, sorry, I was going to say, honestly, for competing for our guys, I mean, unless we're having a tournament on the Columbia River, they don't need it. Literally, that's the thing. So those are not required potholes, Banks Lake, any of the other lakes.
No, it'd be the Columbia and I guess the Snake in Washington too.
Yeah, if we were on the Snake, yeah, but we only had like one. But yeah, normally it'd be on the Columbia. But I mean, still.
Oh yeah, tournament wise, we've only done one on the Snake in Washington, and it's not.
And I'd say 90% of the guys don't fish the Columbia that often. They're fishing places on the west side.
They're further away from it. We're close to it here in Portland, but if you're up in Seattle, it's it's a 2.5-3 hour drive to get down to the Columbia and fish.
For me, it's pretty much for every species I fish, I'm on the Columbia for most of it, or in the Salt, so it's a different.
Yeah, where you're at, you're obviously right on it. And, Eastern Washington, sure, they can get to the Columbia.
I haven't been bothered. I've even, went up to them on purpose. Didn't tell them what I wanted them to see, but see if they say anything. I've had nothing said to me yet. So,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I've even had times when we were all salmon fishing, and there was like probably 5 or 6 of us, and we all got checked, and nobody said a word. And 4 of us had motors. So, I don't know.
It's crazy. And then the other regulatory stuff we should talk about a little bit between the 3 states is some of the invasive species or waterway access permit stuff. So in Oregon, we have the waterway access permit, and everybody has to buy that except people with motors. People with motors who are registering their kayak. That's the invasive species portion of the waterway access permit is part of your motor registration. And that's exactly the same as Idaho. It basically works the same way. You buy the invasive species there unless you're registering a motor. So like when we do a tournament, that means if we go to Idaho, everybody from out of state has to buy the invasive species permit. But if you're an Idaho resident, you only have to buy it if you don't have a motor. If you have a motor and you've registered it, then you're good. And it's exactly the same in Oregon. They both work the same way that way. Washington, on the other hand, does not have an invasive species permit, but Washington is the most diligent of all 3 states by like 100-fold about trying to protect against invasive species. We have to, anybody who's fished our tournaments has seen it. There's paperwork that we have to do at every event. You have to sign that you have not had if you have been in, and luckily they changed it a little bit. So now it's Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. It used to be if you had your kayak outside of Washington. So if you came and fished a tournament in Oregon, and then went back, you had to sanitize your kayak. Now they're saying Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. If it's been outside of those 3 states within 30 days of the tournament, then you have to sanitize your kayak. So you're supposed to use like boiling water on it, or you can use bleach or something like that if you want to as well. And then there's another, and if they've had to do that, then there's another form that we fill out that they have to sign that says, yes, I've sanitized it, or yeah, and we've checked it and made sure that it's okay. But that's only Washington that does that. It's a little bit of trouble. Oh, Patrick's got some interesting info for us. He says Lake Sammamish is federal. Probably the only lake on our schedule that is. So that's another one that technically you should probably have your boat registered in Washington if you're going to fish the Lake Sammamish Summer Open. Thank you for that, Patrick. Well, let's talk for a moment with Joe, and then we can cut him loose, and then we can jump into some other stuff. Jim, Joe, what's the ETA on your kayak truck? Do you know?
Last week of February. It looks like we got pushed back 1 week, but we have a Sportsman's Expo here in Boise that we're going to be at first weekend of March, and they're supposed to be here by then. So the truck's supposed to leave February 20th, coming towards us. So,
do you have a booth at the expo?
Yeah. Yep.
You do.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Oh, that's right. So, you're splitting one with Snake River, right?
That didn't end up happening, but
okay.
But yeah, we'll still be there. We'll be showcasing the native and the bonafide and the new canoes. So
and new canoe.
Which yep. Yep. Yeah, we picked up new canoe last minute. So
yeah, I kind of teased Joe about it when he said, "Oh, we got new canoes coming in too." I said, "Well, same factory. It's not the same company, but it is this. They are molded in the same factory." Mm-hmm. In fact, Wendell Fishing just did recently. Did you see the video he did where he toured the whole factory and they saw them all being made? It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool facility.
Yeah, pretty amazing. I might get to go down this fall. I'm going down for a team event down there in South Carolina, so I'm going to get to fish and I'm the tournament director for it. It's a native and bonafide combined sort of competition between the brands, cool. And I get to TD it, and I'll get to fish a little, and I might get to go to the factory when I'm down there. We'll see. It's it's a little far from the factory, but I still might figure out a way to do it. What else have you got going on? You mentioned all the motors that you're running. What about graphs? Who are you carrying as far as graphs?
So we got Lowrance, Garmin. We can do hummingbirds. We're not
special order, sort of.
Yeah, I mean they all kind of we get them from the same places.
I see.
I'm just not I'm not connected with them directly at all.
You're not an official dealer for them, right?
No, but I can still get my hands on them just fine if it's necessary. And then if you consider the power pull stuff, graphs, they do have their screens. Which I don't see anyone quite using that on kayaks anytime soon. Too much.
And how many of those products are all set pricing, your manufacturer's price, that you don't, it's kind of the same price everywhere.
Yeah. So all the major companies have
gone to that.
what they call it a MAP policy, where we have to abide by their pricing, except for Cabela's apparently. So I'm going to jab at it.
We saw Troy's
that was
post
my
earlier.
morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lowrance is running their sale right now again, so there is some options there. But
Great.
Yeah, and if anyone has anything on sale, we can have it on sale. I'm not. It's
you can
for a small
match
shop.
it.
It's hard to sit there and adjust my pricing every week. So if you guys find something that's brand new and still relevant, then we can always price match it with the big box stores, most likely.
That's great.
It never hurts to reach out to us.
That's super. And then, Joe mentioned to me, or maybe I shouldn't let this cat out of the bag, but prices are going up on a lot of stuff, especially the steel stuff, hooks, tungsten. So you may want to invest before they go up too much.
Yeah, I for the next 3 to 6 months, I would try to pick up as much tungsten and hooks. Hooks are unfortunately probably going to change very quickly. But I think tungsten's going to take a little bit longer. But tungsten's really, really bad right now. I used to sell a half-ounce flipping weight or half-ounce worm weight for $2.07. I sell it in bulk form. It's unpackaged. But that same weight now, as of today, I just got pricing updates on Monday from the factory in China, where everything's coming from. It's going to be $6.80 now instead of the $2.07. It's skyrocketed. Yeah,
what I hate about that is some people like me were trying to be diligent about switching over to more tungsten than lead, and that really pushes you back the other direction. Like, oh no, I think I'll just be throwing lead for a while.
Yeah, and it's a bummer because I went the extra mile to try to go direct, find ways to make it cheaper for everyone.
Yeah.
And for it to all just get washed
Priced
in under
out.
a year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still going to be competitive. It's going to take you're going to see Tackle Warehouse still at reasonable rates, but as they continue to replenish, it's going to get bad.
Yeah, it depends on how much stock backlog. And, we learned that during COVID that people didn't have a lot of stock backlog because all of a sudden everybody was out.
I'm not 100% sure if I'm supposed to be able to talk about this, but VMC, they've halted all tungsten until the time being. Now they have apparently a giant supply of stuff all the time on hand.
Sure.
So
huge company.
They're going to do marginal increases when necessary, but the big companies are going to win on it eventually. Whereas the smaller tungsten only, if like Queen's Tackle or something like that,
sure
you're going to see them switch the
fastest. Hard. Yeah, that's going to be tough for those folks.
Yeah. I see drop shot weights and jig heads. I think people are going to start going back to lead real quickly. I think the flipping weights and the worm weights might hang on for a while just because you don't lose them nearly as much.
People kept eating eggs when the prices went way up, but I guess there wasn't a lead alternative to eggs.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that something changes on that. But yeah, that's going to be a tough, bitter pill to swallow if you got to go buy a bunch of tungsten or buy a bunch of hooks. I mean, hooks are not as expensive anyway, but still.
Yeah. And I mean, if it turns around, I'm changing the prices back down as I can. I mean, it's that's
sure.
That kind of drives me nuts is to see these market swings on the global side affect our pricing, but they never seem to come back down when things go back down. But that's what I watch that stuff as much as I can to because I'm a fisherman and a consumer just like everyone else. You know, it's when things get expensive, it gets expensive for me too. So
Sure.
I want to see it go down.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that something changes on that. But, well,
Yeah, it's
you know,
not happening anytime soon.
thanks a ton for joining us. Is this your second or third visit on the podcast? This is like your third visit, isn't it? Wow, he's the
Second,
record
yeah.
holder. Well, thanks for joining us, and looking forward to seeing you again. We had a little bit of Idaho news. I don't know if you heard about that. Not in your neck of the woods. We did have a little scare on our Lake Cascade event, but we thought that wasn't going to work for the permit, but it did. It was fine. It was just a clerical mistake. We're good on that one. But our Lake Coeur d'Alene event has now been moved to Lake Pend Oreille, so it's even a little further from you. So we'd love to see you at Cascade if you can make it up there when we're in your neck of the woods. We'd love to have you at the awards and at the pre-event or the pre-event briefing, and you can bring some stuff to sell if you want, and we'd love to have you.
Yeah, no, we're definitely trying to make that happen.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Joe. We'll
thanks for having me on, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Seeing you, man.
You too.
And now it's just you and I. Oh, we lost your name in case people don't know who you are. Oh yeah, it's over. It's over here. It's over here. It got turned off. I don't know why that turns off every once in a while. Yeah. So interesting stuff. Prices. Not what we want to hear.
Wait until they decide to outlaw lead on the river.
Well, that's the fear. I mean, that's why I was switching. Is I was like, eventually, they, especially here in the Northwest, they may outlaw it. They have in California a lot already. So
they outlawed steel shot for a lot of the bird hunters. So
yeah, sure.
They've been talking about it for the anglers. That'll make things rough as heck. Who knows?
There was something else I remembered that I wanted to bring up, and now that I didn't have on my notes, and now I've lost it again. Hopefully it'll come back to me at some point. But so before we jump into some of this other stuff that I want to talk about, I mentioned at the top of the podcast that we've got a new tour sponsor, Boggs. Boggs are back, which is great. They changed marketing directors, and so the first year that new person was in, I wasn't able to get him back as a sponsor. But then I reached out to him this year in the off season. He's like, yeah, I think we can do something this year. I'm like, yes. So they're back. They're back for us, and they're back for native. They're doing one of the slots for native as well, which is pretty cool. And so we're going to have a free, in addition to being a tour sponsor and helping support us to run these events, we'll have a free pair of footwear at every event. And I've got samples here of stuff that's pretty cool. They've got some new products. They're really fishing specific. And so I'm going to have all these samples at each of our events this year, so people can actually check out the products there.
Nice.
And then if they win the gift certificate, they can order one of these, or they can order whatever they want. And then at the end of the year, like our last event, we'll raffle these away to anybody that they fit, that is the right size. None of them fit me, I noticed, which doesn't surprise me, because I have a very small size of shoe, unfortunately. But so check out this. A lot of our guys and gals love to wear Crocs out on the kayak. Maybe not this time of year, but in the summer they do. Well, this is their version of the Croc, basically. I'm going the wrong way here. It's all backwards. So
oh, wow. I could see that being a big hit.
On it. Yeah, this should be really good for the kayakers. And the thing is, if you've worn Crocs and gone kayaking, the negative to them is they kind of suck on wet pavement. There's a lot of shoes you'll notice that with. You get them on wet pavement and they're just slippery as hell. These have kind of a siped sole, so that's going to grip a lot better if you're on something wet. They have this in a bunch of different colors, but it's pretty cool. And then they have these, which are really awesome. They're neoprene and rubber.
Oh, yeah.
This is a short shoe. Again, that siped sole that's gonna grip really well.
And wear a pair of I have a pair on right now. They're just, well, not those, but the Huck's the same kind of way. So same thing.
And then they have the tall one of that, which is a little like, you know, the extra tufts, if you've seen those. I think this is one of
Nice.
the ladies' ones here. But yeah, again, neoprene, seamless, waterproof, great. And then they're Big Daddy boots, which I have a pair of these, and they're great this time of year if you're going to go out. But, you know, big neoprene top, again, seamless. It's all glued in there. The bottom seamless. A little more substantial than something like the Boundary boot, you know, which is all neoprene basically. You know, this, you could hike through whatever in this and it's going to hold up. These are basically muck boots.
They tend to be a lot warmer too in the cold
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah. And I got mine kind of extra big. That's a great idea if you are getting them to stay warm. Get them extra big and put real thick socks. Because it's
Between
that
your dry
air is what keeps you warm.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I'm real excited about that. I'll have these samples, all 4 of these samples at our events so everybody can check them out and then hopefully order them. We need to really show our support to them this year. They stepped up big. This is the biggest they've ever supported us before. And so we need to show them that it's worth it. Like we're going to buy products. And they also were asking my opinion about, you know, what they should carry, what would be good for people like us. And so I talked to them about the Boundary boot. I talked about like low profile stuff that's neoprene and rubber would be great, especially in the warmer part of the year.
Yeah, something for the warmer part of the years would be nice. Especially something that's maybe a little lower profile that you can wear over a dry suit if you're going to be in the salt or something, so you don't have to have the thigh high or the knee high, you know, boots
Yeah.
that would stay on your foot, you know, as you're trying to get in your kayak going through the surf or something. That kind of stuff is pretty handy to have and use.
Yeah.
But I know that everybody that every time anybody that's ever gotten a Boggs card one of our events, I've never heard anybody say anything bad. They just say all good things about, you know, they love their stuff. And so I don't think getting people to order stuff's going to be too tough.
Yeah. I think, especially I'm glad that we had a sample. That's one thing the marketing director said is like, I want people to actually be able to see it. He said like, that's the problem with the gift certificate, right? Is whenever we do a gift certificate, they're not really seeing it.
That's
And
going to
that-
make a huge difference.
Just like you said, that was the feedback I got when, I mean, I knew the products. I had checked out the products before I even reached out to them. And so I knew what we were getting. But a lot of the people that won the gift certificate, like you said, they really didn't know until they ordered it and got them in. And I heard the same thing at Native. And the Native was like a big gift certificate. It was like a $500 gift certificate the first year or something like that, that's a lot of shoes.
Right.
People bought their whole family, shoes, which is cool.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that one. Still working on more sponsorship, trying to get some more stuff happening. It's tough this time of year. It gets a little tougher, but I'm going to try. Oh, I remember the other thing I meant to ask about. Joe mentioned the expo. How was the Washington show?
Oh, it was good. It was real good. A lot more people this year. Man, I did a couple seminars. I did 3 of them, 3 seminars. But man, my Saturday seminar, holy smokes, there was people standing in the boats, people standing on the ground. They were just thick. It was a lot of people. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome. You were on the walleye tank. Is that where you were?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. I was
great.
going over Oracle jigs. I'm going to end up at the what is it called? The Buckhorn show as well, doing some there too in
Nice.
in March. So
ours down here starts tomorrow. It's through this weekend. Unfortunately, Next Adventure was our big in at that show. You know, we usually had a lot of people there representing Next Adventure and representing their brands that were giving seminars on the pool. But that's not happening this year.
yeah, losing those guys was a big chink in the armor, man. That was kind of a.
It's been interesting though that we've got new dealers popping up, which wouldn't have happened, I guess, if if Next Adventure was still doing what they were doing. So it's interesting. Like Northwest, Joe wouldn't have gotten into doing it. And now we've got Nixon's Marine up in your neck of the woods.
Yep.
And Alder Creek here, who have been a native dealer, but they didn't sell a lot of fishing kayaks because they were more ocean kayaks, but they're getting more into that stuff now that, they're really the only game in town here for native and bona fides. So I went and talked to them, and they said they were interested in coming on board as a sponsor. So I got to follow up with them and see if we can get something to happen. But yeah, it's kind of cool that we've got multiple places that people can go for kayaks, but I do miss having that big connection with a big dominant kind of company too. And especially for the Sportsman Show, I miss it. Brandon Hua is doing at least one seminar I saw about bass fishing. And I think that was about it of our folks. That was the only person that I saw, unless I missed it at the schedule. I'm going to pop in and walk around and talk to people about sponsorship and stuff, see if I can get anything happening there. But I saw you at the show last year. Are you coming down this year?
No, I will be.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be over on Lake Roosevelt chasing the elusive 20-pound triploid that I'm freaking hung up on.
I saw your triploid post. That's interesting. Yeah, those things are mutants.
God, they're fun. They're so fun. And then with the active target or the live scope, whatever you got,
Right.
Holy smokes, man! It's a it's a lot of fun. I don't know, between stripers and the triploids are kind of like this addiction that when it comes time to fishing, that's all I want to do.
It's pretty cool. Well, yeah, striper I have more experience with. I have a lot of trout experience, but not exactly triploid experience. But striper I've got a fair amount of experience with, and they are a blast.
They're brutal. They're like catching a freaking pissed off 10-pound smallmouth. They're so flipping crazy strong.
Yeah. Well, they're a saltwater fish, so they fight like a saltwater fish, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to be able to tangle with one of them. My biggest is just over 30 pounds, and I've had 3 of them on that were way bigger, and they schooled me. As a rodeo, I just couldn't keep up with the fish, man. I remember this one was jumping against the bank on one side of my kayak over there, and I was trying to catch up. I thought I lost him, and he was jumping between me and the bank over here. A half a second later, they're just so fast. It's crazy. So it's tons of fun, but they're an insane fish, and they will straighten your hook, straighten your split ring, they'll wear out your rod.
You bring up an interesting morsel there about fishing that's interesting is catching, especially really hard fish to catch like that, hard fish to land, I should say.
Right.
I had an experience with that this past summer in Pennsylvania. We were on this creek, and I hooked into an enormous trout. The thing was 24, 26, something like that. I didn't get a great look at it, but a good enough look at it. And there were other fish in this creek that were that big, that were 24 to 30 inches. And I was on a fly rod with, I think I was running 5X or 6X. So you're talking like 4 or 5 pound test.
I was going to say petite stuff.
Not like 7X, which is like human hair, but still real light for a fish that size that just runs like crazy. And I don't have enough experience fighting a fish that big on a fly rod like that. It was a 6-weight fly rod. It wasn't like a big beast of a rod either. And, you can't dig in on it or it's going to just break the line immediately or rip the hook out of its mouth. It's like a size 20 hook. So it's not like the hook is really dug into its jaw or something like that. It's kind of a difficult thing to get practice at. Practice fighting a 30-pound striper. I mean, you don't get. I caught a striper about that big in Pennsylvania, but it was in a big boat, and it was we caught it deep and everything. I had a big ass rod. It was no problem with that. But it was a beast. It was about that big. It was 25, 30 pounds.
Yeah, it just comes down to your gear. I mean, when it's like smallmouth fishing. If you're going to go fish glide baits in the fall for those big smallmouth that are just wound up, they're warm blooded and they're vicious, and you're going to go out there with a Zebco rod and reel, and even if you've got 15-pound test line on it, that fish is going to
it's going to
freaking
school
wreck
you. Yeah, it's going
He's
to
gonna
totally school you.
But if you go out with a broomstick and a great big, reel and good line and good gear and good terminal tackle, well then, that rod looks like a broomstick, but when it loads up with that fish, it's doing everything it's supposed to. It's helping you work that fish like it's supposed to. It's doing everything you need it to have done. And it'll help you get that stuff in there. We get lucky when we land them on lighter gear, but it's always either, do I want to deal with this club and this giant stuff, or do I want to, be a little more comfortable with this other thing? The unfortunate thing is when you do hook that bigger fish, then it's a game, it's a battle, and a lot of times people don't win, and we don't win. Them fish didn't get big by being stupid.
Amen. I say that all the time. It's so true.
Probably familiar with a hook, I'll bet you.
Indeed. There was, you just reminded me of a story. I just saw a guy it was back east. I think it was Virginia. He caught about a 54-inch muskie in this river system, and Fish and Game knew this fish very well. They had marked it multiple times. It had been shocked, and they knew about it, and no one, that to their knowledge, no one had ever caught the thing. And this guy just recently caught it, hooked it, caught it, got some pictures of it, let it go. It went right back in the water. But pretty interesting, like a fish that big, just like you're saying, it was smart enough that it doesn't get caught often. If anybody else caught it and didn't spill the beans, then there wasn't very many people that caught it. But those muskies they're a bit slyer fish than our smallmouth and our largemouth that we fish for a lot.
Oh yeah. And look how many times you've caught a fish too that's had hook marks in it.
Oh yeah, all the time. And I mean, I've even caught this. I caught a smallmouth on the Columbia one time, like 40 minutes apart, same smallmouth, and I didn't realize it. I submitted them both, and somebody caught it and said, "Hey, that's the same fish." I'm like, "Oh, geez, you're right."
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen it in tournaments. We've had it happen in tournaments where somebody catches the same fish an hour, 2 hours apart or something like that. Yeah, it's tough. So one reason I want to have you on, Jim, is to talk about the myriad of adventures that you've got going on. You've got a bunch of stuff going on, ups, downs, sideways, everything else. Not to mention you've been battling, some stuff with your health, which I'm glad you're doing well. I really that makes me feel great that you're recovering and doing well. So good luck on that. But talk to us about some of the fishing stuff. I mean, everybody here mostly knows probably about the Bassmaster event, the Oregon Bassmaster Kayak series that Brandon Hua put together, and he's asked you to TD that for him.
Yes, I'm going to be helping him on that front. Yep, absolutely.
And it looked like I saw Josh Ruffhorn was going to help you out. He was going to assist you on it. So that's great.
Going to assist me on that again. And we're going to work right along with Brandon and, make it the best event that we can. So hopefully put in, music, some different things like we've done in the past, and make it something that's a great experience, not just a tournament for everybody.
Sure.
Which I think is important. So I've always said that nobody really remembers much of the fish they caught eventually, but they'll always remember that feeling they had or that experience they had when they were doing it. Makes them either want to go back or not go back. So
that's great. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah, we've got some cool ideas about what we're going to try and do with the media this year too. You and I have to kind of powwow on that a little bit for the KFNW stuff. But so I was super what was that?
I said it's a lot of extra, but it can be really satisfying.
Well, I'm not going to be fishing very many of the KFNW events this year, and that's partly why, because I want to put a lot more into trying to put on a bigger show for everybody and really make something special. So we'll work
Well,
we'll work on that together and kind of make
right, like
something
we talked
happen.
about, that was the whole reason I stepped out of the fishing, because I just couldn't do. You don't have enough time to stay competitive and then turn around and put on a good program for people.
No.
It's just too hard.
One of
It
them or
doesn't.
both of them is going to suffer, right?
Yeah, and so it's just easier. I decided I wanted to do better for all the anglers, so that's where I went.
That's great. Well, I was Michael Jarvis just said he's going to the Bass Nation event. I was super jazzed to fish that event because it's an event I can go and fish that I'm not a director or a judge or anything else.
Have fun and fish.
And I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm going to be in Phoenix that weekend. I had promised my brother to house sit when they took a trip, and their dates had to change, and so it fell right on that event. So I'm going to be in Phoenix for that event. So I can help you judge. If you need some help judging, I'll be available probably. But
Well, it's no different than me and Steve. I always look forward to the native event, and if I have doctor's appointments I just cannot miss, and it's on that Friday in Seattle, so I doesn't look like I'm going to get a fish the native, which sucks because I always look forward to that. So I'm going to right now I haven't had any luck getting it changed. We'll see.
Okay, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed that you can make something happen for that. But yeah, that should be a great one with it being on potholes. I think in that time of year it should.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a really good one. There's probably going to be
really kick ass.
A lot of great fit.
So all right, we talked about the Bass event, the Bass Nation event. Let's talk about the Oregon Rockfish Classic.
Yeah, that's coming up. That's going to be July 11th this year. Again, it's going to be a regional qualifier for the USA saltwater kayak fishing team. To top 10% or top 10 anglers will get to go to nationals. And I think this year, again, I'm not 100% sure, but nationals is going to be in August this year. But because it's so close to when nationals is, I think it's going to give anybody that wants to skip nationals this year, it'll give them a pass to nationals next year. And then the top 10 or so out of nationals get an invite to the USA team, which currently I'm a member of, and they go from there. So, and you can anywhere this year we're going to Panama and then Portugal in September. So I'm not going to go to Panama this year. I told them I'm going to chill. I've been traveling the world for 2 years doing it. So it's, I got to chill out. Maybe Panama, maybe Portugal, we'll see. But yeah, and plus with my health and stuff, it's just
that's too much. Yeah. I was at the ORC this past year, and I helped you out a little bit with that event with some of the web and graphics and stuff. But it was a lot of fun hanging out with everybody there, and it's just some killer fish caught. And Jed and what was the winner's name? I can't remember her name.
Christine. Oh no, you had to say that.
That's okay. Christine's close enough. I just was looking for the first name, but
yeah, she's an amazing angler. She's also, she was the highest. She scored higher than any other female in the Brownlee crappie shootout too. So and then she turned around and won the ORC. Yeah,
and won it by tying Jed, who runs the Brownlee crappie shootout. They tied, but she won the tie.
It came down to time that they submitted. So and actually she had one photo I had to deny because she didn't get a release picture. She had a photo of the fish with the wristband but no release, and so had I had that, it would have been a little different. But she tied Jed. You're right. She ended up tying Jed, and her photos were her timestamp was first. So, well, yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And it'll just get bigger and better as we go. It's a pretty good time. Not to mention the camping's a good time down there. The RV park that we're at what is that? I can't remember the name.
I can't
Bend
remember.
RV park. It's pretty nice, pretty big. It was
what was that name again?
Chinook Bend RV Park.
I think I was talking over you. I just wanted to be sure people heard it.
It was a good time. They treat us well there. So
it was a good facility. Margaret and I went down, and they basically just take the big mower, the tractor out there, and cut spots in the grass that are camping spots for people.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's clean. The bathrooms are clean there. It's right on the river. If the wind is blowing on the ocean, you can go salmon fishing or whatever. Yeah. Walk around and talk with everybody. It's a good time. It's a real good time.
Kyle Davenport said, hit him up for some Rockfish Classic donations. So put that on your list of people to reach out to.
Get on that, Kyle, here in the next day or two, because I'm in the middle of that stuff too.
He's doing it. Well, no, that's what he said. He said he's telling you he will donate to you. Okay.
I'm going to write a note.
Do it. But so Kyle, used to fish with us, and then he moved away, but he's back.
He's back.
And I just found out, I should mention this to everybody too that doesn't know. I did just send out 1099s. So if you won $600 or more in 2025 from KFNW, check your email. If you didn't already, make sure you check it, and you'll be able to download your 1099 forms in there. A bunch of folks have already downloaded theirs, but I saw there were a few that haven't seen it. So I'm going to have to start reaching out one by one to those people. But if you know that you won 600 or more, go to your email. You'll find an email from me where you can download it from Dropbox. There's a secure link, and it's an encrypted file and everything, so it's all protected. But yeah.
We got to get Kyle to come back too to fish the KFNW. He was a hammer when he was here.
He was. He did really well.
He was good.
And speaking of hammers who moved away, that's one reason I brought up the 1099s is as I was doing the 1099s, one of our he was in the top 10, that list that I posted. Did you see that list I posted today of our top 10 moneymakers for 2025? I posted that just today. You might not have seen it because you were at work. But one of the people in there who won our first event of the year at 10 Mile was Elijah O'Brien. Elijah moved to Alabama last year. So he didn't fish any more events with us. That was like the only event he did, and he won it. And then he moved to Alabama to fish. And I reached out to him about his 1099, and he said, I'm moving back. I said, what's going on? He said, there's not enough kayak fishing out here. It's like all boat fishing, which is I'm not sure I buy that because I know a lot of kayak anglers out there. There's a lot of kayak anglers over there. But he said he's coming back. He said he's coming for potholes. He's going to fish potholes. He won't be moved back yet by then, but he said he's going to come and fish potholes and the first KFNW event. So I said, well, if you need a kayak or gear, let us know. We'll hook you up. But that was kind of interesting. So that's two folks that left and are coming back.
Yeah, it's hard to leave the Pacific Northwest.
There you go. So you just mentioned the Saltwater kayak fishing team. So tell us a little bit more about that for everybody who doesn't know what that's about. Tell me what you're doing with it and how long you've been doing it, what you've been doing, where you've been, how successful you've been. Tell us the whole basic rundown.
Well, it's been 2.5 years ago or something, a couple of years ago, I told everybody that I was looking to change my goals. I wanted to try to qualify for the saltwater team, and I had an opportunity come up for me, and lo and behold, allowed me to do that. And since then, I've been traveling. I've been Costa Rica, Spain, Italy, Mexico, just all over the place, fishing and competing. We've pulled gold in Costa Rica, silver in Mexico, Spain. We did. We were all split up in the 3-man teams. My 3-man team took 5th in Spain, and in Italy this last year, I thought we took 5th. I looked at it. My 3-man team took 4th place. We were the highest 3-man team out of all the 3-man teams for the U.S. that were there. So it's hard that it's when you go over there and fish against those guys, and their fisheries are super difficult, super overfished, super technical. And if you're not used to being really on just tight or just a technical angler, looking at your anything from your rod to your line to your terminal, I mean, you got to look at everything, like look down to everything, like if you're going to use some kind of because the fish are all like, they're not very big, but they'll catch them on mini versions of, say, like a little jerk bait, where you got to the little jerk bait might come with hooks, but the hooks on them not the right weights. So you got to weigh your hooks and figure out what one makes that bait do what you want it to do better. There's all kinds of little things. It is a totally different level than what I was used to fishing. But then when I went to Spain, I was the coach in Italy. And then after we get done with Italy, they asked me to take manager's position on the team, and I'm in the manager's position on the team. I'm also on the board for the USA Saltwater Kayak Fishing Team, so I get to help in a lot of the decisions and a lot of different things that we do. And right now, the program's just absolutely exploding. We've made a deal with Delta Digital, who owns Wired to Fish, Kayak Angler Magazine, a couple of the other big things, and those guys, we have a partnership with them, and we're going to be getting actual sponsors for our anglers to take care of either things like entry fees, which are expensive, kayak rental, which is expensive, food, even obviously lodging, and hopefully we get to some airfares. Just an airline's ticket to Italy was a couple $2,500 for the cheap seats. I mean, I couldn't believe what first class paid. And then when I got on the plane and looked at first class, I couldn't believe it was full. I was like, how do these people pay that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not joking. Some of the first class seats were $30,000. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. That's the price that we were seeing. My wife and me were laughing about it. I was like, oh dear God. But whatever, people pay it. I guess that's why they get it. But yeah, it's been a heck of a trip. It's been an awesome experience. I'm so glad I got to do it. And I still will be able to do things. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes and seeing what they turn into and the way it's growing right now. The Saltwater team is literally forging the way for all of the other teams. They don't have any of the stuff that we have going on. They don't have qualifiers. They don't have the sponsorship stuff. They don't have any of that stuff. They just have a guy that's like going to run the freshwater team, and then they just pick a handful of people. And they're all starting to kind of copy what we're doing, which is just growing the program over tenfold. So it's pretty fun. And plus, I've got to meet some really, really stand-up individuals and individuals that are, big hitters in the sport that we love. So it's been pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to where it goes. We'll see how
awesome. That's awesome.
But,
yeah, you blew me away with everything you've got going on. I don't know how you keep up. I feel like I'm always playing catch up, and I don't know if I have as much going on as you do.
Well, if I'm just really good at being chaotic and freaking unorganized. If you were unorganized in a shit show nearly as good as I am, then you would have no problem either. That's what I tell people. If there wasn't a shit show, if it wasn't a shit show, it'd be no show at all. So there's no, sometimes it's embarrassing, but I just do the best I can. And like I tell everybody too, I don't want to be 85 years old and wished I had done something. So
right.
I'm gonna live life the best I can and deal with what's left later.
Absolutely.
And I'm also, I got to say this too. I'm super lucky to have a wife that supports everything that I do. Without her support, I would be able to do none of it. And she pushes me more and more all the time. So, I'm super thankful for. Can't even begin to say how much I'm thankful. But
I can relate to that. It's similar here with Margaret. She went down to Clear Lake with me last year when we did the West Coast Championship, and I mean, she went out on the water with me the whole time.
nice.
She was out there. She was just having a ball. So
Yeah, that's
it was
always
great.
good when they'll share that with you, the experience with you. So, what?
Well, I think that's most of what I had on my list. Is there anything else that I should ask you about that we should talk about?
No, I'm looking forward to getting the season going. Still working on sponsorships for different stuff. I think I'm gonna have a kayak for the ORC. It looks like to give away. That would be good.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we'll see.
that's right. Nice. That'll be great.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we've got one for KFNW again, too. We'll be giving away another Titan X. And we'll have one for the native event as well. So, same as last year,
Nice.
we'll have 2 Titan
That's
X's.
awesome. That's awesome. Let me know if you need a place to keep it. Again, I'll store it here if you need it.
I don't think I'm going to, well, I don't know if I'm going to have the one for April. I might take you
Well,
up
if you
on
have
that.
to, no big
Especially
deal, let
with
me
it
know.
being at potholes, it's not that far from you. So, yeah, I'll let you know. I mean, I'm not going to fish that one definitely. So,
Well, somebody will, or be able to pick it up if I'm not here. For it, somebody
yeah.
can just come by and grab it. At least it's not your way.
If I get it
If-
before then, I'm probably just I'll just bring it up with me to the event and have it on display there. And so,
Well, I guess we don't have to move it out of Next Adventure space either, do we?
yeah, it'll come to Alder Creek, and they'll want me to get it out fairly quickly, I'm sure. But it depends on how close it is to the event. I mean, this is where it gets really crazy. We're only a little over 2 months before that event.
Wow.
It's 2 months and 15
That's not very
days.
long.
2.5
Yeah.
months. So, yeah,
Shoo.
before potholes. So it's coming up pretty darn quick.
Yeah,
and the season long 50-50 starts in 18 days, 19 days.
Hey, yeah.
It's crazy. Just over 2 weeks.
Already here.
And it's been such a weird winter, fall and winter. People were fishing, a lot of folks were fishing late in the year and still doing well. It's finally gotten we've had a little bit of cold weather. But here, especially in Portland, it's just been super mild. I mean, today, it was like 55 today and sunny.
Yeah, same here. I have one of the guys that I fish with here. He's a boat guy. He told me last weekend he caught a whole pile of really nice big smallmouth in 10 to 15 foot of water already. And I was like, wow,
I think it's spring.
yeah, they're not even usually up. They're usually not even transitioned up into like that 20-foot mark, because all the walleye guys about March will start catching a bunch of really nice smallmouth, and about that 20 to 25 foot mark as those fish start
As
to
they're
move
moving
up.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they're already doing whatever it is they're going to do.
Be interesting to see what happens. It may screw with the spawn or something. Fish may get a little confused about it. I remember that happening in Arizona a couple times where there was like no spawn because the weather was just so weird.
Right. Oh. But
Well, yeah, we'll get it rolling. I was trying to. There's something else I think I wanted to bring up, but I can't think of what it was. We talked about Lake Pend Oreille. Have you been to Pend Oreille?
not since I was a kid.
Not since you were a kid. Okay.
No.
I'm looking forward to that one. Should be a fun event. It's going to be a bit of a haul for some people. Oh, the other one I should mention here again, I just want to keep putting it out there. The Flying Kayak Open is back. We're going to be having that down at Davis Lake. We'll be at Crane Prairie on Saturday, and then we'll be at Davis Lake, which is 15 minutes away, on Sunday for the Flying Kayak Open. And the Crane Prairie is one of our summer opens. So the cool thing about that is if I got people coming in to fish the Davis Lake Flying Kayak Open, they come over and fish the summer open if they want. They don't have to be members. They can just come over and fish it. So I got to reach out to some of especially those folks down there. The last time we had it, you know who won it 2 years ago, the last time we had it? I'll give you one guess.
Was it Evan?
Who wins? What did you say?
Evan Mertz?
Yes.
Yeah.
Evan won it the last time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Evan's not in a kayak any longer. He's had some health problems that have.
I'm sorry to hear that. I saw his Hawaii photos, but yeah, I didn't realize he was having some health trouble. That's too bad.
He's a good dude. But yeah, he's had some, I think it was nerve issues that basically took him out of being able to stay in a kayak.
Oh, that's tough.
That's why he's not going at the Brownlee shootout. Yeah. So
well, I'm going to try and make the Brownlee crappie shootout. I should be there this year. I think I'll be able to do it. I'm looking forward to that one.
Everybody should go. That's so fun.
It's such a great time and so much about community and
that's the
brotherhood and sisterhood and
it's all about everybody being together. The fishing is like who cares? I mean, everybody cares. They want to do that, but it's the closeness, camaraderie of things. People are walking around enjoying everybody camp to camp. It's so much fun. It is
that
literally
event, we should have mentioned, and that's bad on us for not saying it about the ORC, but both the Brownlee Crappie Shootout and the Oregon Rockfish Classic are charity events.
Yes,
so talk to us about the charity that supported and what you're doing for them and what they're up to.
And we give them all the proceeds that we get from the Oregon Rockfish Classic are donated to Neighbors for Kids. They're in Depot Bay. And it supports Depot Bay, Newport, Lincoln City, all the surrounding areas there. And it gives the kids places to go after school or, during times when parents are at work, keeps them out of trouble. Hopefully, and I saw some pretty old kids there, older children when I was there. Mm-hmm. So could keep them also out of, drugs, just out of harm's way. So it's a good deal. Last year I was able to give them $2,000. So we're hoping that as it gets bigger, we'll be able to donate more and more to them. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you're doing it sort of the same way Jed does the Brownlee Crappie Shootout. People, all the money that you raise goes to them, and then you get sponsorship prizes, and that goes to your winners. They win cool gear.
It does. The one thing we did do is I did raffle off. We raffled off the prizes that we got for the sponsors, and we sold raffle tickets for that just to get as much money as we possibly could for the Neighbors for Kids. As the event grows, we can raise more money. Then I would like to.
Yeah, if you can raise sponsorship cash, then you can do both. Yeah.
So that I can just be giving those prizes away to the anglers. But yeah, it definitely helps raise money for the Neighbors for Kids, which is bottom line for the event. It's kind of a twofold. I want to raise as much as I can, get top anglers to show up so we can qualify them to get to go to nationals for the USA team, and it's a lot. That too is based on a lot of brotherhood stuff, sisterhood stuff, as we talked about. People walking around from camp to camp, talking to one another. It's a different kind of nobody's keeping. I don't know. It's just a different kind of atmosphere. I know it's hard to explain, but it's awesome.
That's great.
It's a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that was sort of one of my goals with KFNW as we're kind of transitioning into this bigger organization. Is I'd like to raise enough money if I can hit what I need to do all the stuff that I'd like to with the tournament series. Then if we can raise money above and beyond that, then that becomes charity. And offline from here, I'll reach out to you because there's some sponsors that I have talked to and worked with who that's their focus. If they're donating money, it really needs to be for a charity. And so there's some sponsors that I can probably pass to you that you could reach out to, and you might be able to raise some cash.
Oh, that would be awesome to raise cash for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, 100% of everything we get goes to Neighbors for Kids.
That's great.
All of it does. So.
Okay. Well, it was super having you on. Sorry, it took 5 episodes to get you on. You were like the first person I thought of. I'm like, I got to get Jim on here. But you had a lot of stuff going on. It was
on. And with surgery and all this stuff, it's just been hectic. I'm looking forward to a less hectic year this year, I hope. We'll see.
Yeah, totally. And you'll be, my plans for this podcast was to have you on quite a bit, especially as we get into tournament season. If you go to the homepage on the website now, there is a schedule of when all these podcasts are going to happen. There's about 2 every month generally. Okay. But if you look through that, you'll see what we're going to be doing is do a pre-event podcast where we'll talk about the next event that's coming up. and where it's going to be, and all those details. We can go over some of that stuff, and then there'll be a recap right after every event. The Tuesday after every event, there'll be a recap, and we'll have the podium winners on, and we'll talk to them. And yeah, I'd love to have you help me out with that when we get to it, if you're game.
I am more than happy to help out with all that stuff. 100%.
Yeah, well, you're good at it too, and you know all the folks, you and I both, and we'll get some of the other directors. We'll get Matt Burdick in here too, doing that, and we'll get some of the assistant directors to pop in and help with some of those too as we get the season going. But it'll be fun as we get the season going. This podcast will really kind of kick into gear then. But it's fun this time of year too, getting ready for it.
Right. Sounds awesome.
Well, cool. Thanks again. And I guess I don't know if I'll see you before. Geez, I won't see. I may not see you at Potholes. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm used to seeing you this time of year in the off season. So
it's things have been so up in the air. I don't know. It's a week at a time. So
good. Well, if you're coming down here, I was thinking about going out and chasing walleye on the Willamette. We caught up.
We're going to do that. I was going to look up when you were doing that, when that was there, what time that tournament was.
It was.
Because I definitely want to go.
Yeah, it was August. It was summer.
Yeah,
and they were all up in the shallow water.
Yeah, they'll move.
But it's cool.
Up and down the river too. So, and I don't know how the heck they got up past the. Is there even a?
There's a ladder.
Around?
There's a ladder. There's a fish ladder there.
Okay,
yeah, and I've seen a number of other posts in some of the other groups, people that are fishing all over the Willamette, not just the upper Willamette where we were, but the lower as well. And they're all saying, yeah, they're catching walleye. There's just
the fish move up and down the river. In this time of year, they'll probably, with the colder temps, I would assume be down. It's like the smallmouth that go up the John Day or go up the Grand Ron. They'll go clear up way so high you think, what are you doing up here? But in the wintertime, they're not there. They all leave.
Yeah.
It's because of water temperature. So,
well, that's what it seemed like. We did an event on the Willamette the year before, or similar time. It was our last event, year before last in 2024. It was our September event, was the Willamette. And I caught a walleye in that one too. And there were some walleye, but not as many. And most of them were really small. But this year, it was crazy. I mean, I was catching 13, 14 inchers, which is, getting to that point where, that's a good size to hang on to if you want to eat them. But somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody called like a 24 or something, like a big one.
They'll, as the time goes on, they'll get bigger and bigger, more and more.
Yeah.
Which
it's clean water. It's good. It's a good place if you're going to harvest them and eat them. The upper Willamette is very clean. The lower Willamette is not. I would not really want to keep fish out of that. But the upper is very clean.
Right. That's what I've heard. So.
Well, cool.
So.
Thanks so much for coming on, and I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. And in the meantime,
we'll be in touch.
Stay in touch online. All right.
All right.
Thanks,
man.
buddy. See ya.
Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.